Thank you everyone to join today's session on introduction to Terraform in Azure. So today we'll have a little bit of introductory session for on Terraform using Azure, and today we have Ahmed Siraj, who is a DevOps senior engineer at TriTech, and he is going to help us better understand the topic and guide us on how you should properly run it and how you can get started as well. So before we get started, I wanted to say that the session is recorded. You don't need to record it on a side, and we'll also publish it on YouTube. And secondly, there is a certificate of participation to those who stay till the end. So make sure you till at the end and fill out the form to receive your certificate of participation. So that is all. And if you're not yet in the community, please to join the community. I will link the community links in chat box. That's all from my side, the boring thing, and we'll get into the good thing to all to Ahmed. How do you?
All right. So let's see how many people here. So we got, okay, that's cool. So we got 27 people. So before anything, I'd like to ask all of you, is everyone here DevOps, or is everyone here have any experience with cloud services like AWS, Google Cloud Platform, or Azure? Yeah, you can type in the chat. I just want to know, you know. All right. So, Terraform is quite famous. And there's this one new thing called Open Tofu, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, and there's also this called Pulumi out there, where you can actually use Python for infrastructure as a code. Um, yeah. So anyway, let's get started. Let's see. All right. There we go. Much better. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to share my screen. And let's see. Okay, I'm gonna exit for a moment and come back in. All right. All right. And I'm back. Okay. Okay. And I'm back. So I'll start sharing my screen right now. A moment. So let's begin. Okay. So let's begin. Um. Yeah. So introduction to Terraform and Azure. So let's begin. So here's what we're gonna touch for today's session. We're gonna touch on infrastructure as a code. We're gonna touch on Terraform, and then we're gonna touch on Azure itself. So this session is gonna be quite interesting because most of it is gonna be hands-on. All right. So infrastructure as a code. So infrastructure as a code. Hold on a moment. Are you guys seeing the slides right now? Can you guys see the slide? Um, yeah, you can type them in the chat. Okay. All right. So infrastructure as a code. So why infrastructure as a code exists? So if you use most of cloud platforms, or let's say if you work as a network engineer, for example, you have to go to the office, you have to touch on the servers, you have to plug here, plug there, and let's say if you're a cloud engineer, you have to log into the cloud platform, you have the pictures, picture and whatnot. So there's a lot of trickings involved. So when there's a lot of trickings involved, you're gonna feel like there's so many things to put on. This is tedious. I wish I could automate this. I wish things could have been done better and whatnot. And that's why we have such a thing as infrastructure as a code, where you write your script so that you can set up um, your infra. Like for example, let's say if you're using Azure to set up to host your website, for example, or maybe you're using Firebase to host your website, for example. You have to click here, you have to click there. So there's a lot of clicking involved. But let's say if you have multiple websites, or let's say if you want to do it again. For example, you set up an infrastructure for a client, right? And and not just have one client, you have like 10 or 20 clients or 30 clients, for example, or let's say 100 clients who wants the same thing. Are you going to be clicking the whole thing again and again? No. You just want to like write it once and distribute it to as much people as possible. So how do you do that? Well, that's why we use infrastructure as a code. So these are some of the examples of infrastructure as a code frameworks. We got Terraform, we got Chef, we got Ansible, we got Puppet. So all these frameworks out there, they have their own different syntax and they have their own different ways of using them. So as for today's session, we're going to be using Terraform. So what is Terraform? So we've heard a lot about Terraform, maybe in sci-fi or something like in Mars movie, for example, like Elon Musk, he wants to move to Mars. So how would he do that? Or he have to transform the planet by itself, like this. For example, this is the very definition of terraform, which is to transform a planet, moon, whatnot, so that it is suitable for supporting human life. So the same thing is what we're doing with terraform. We wanna make Azure, or we wanna make
Sorry to interrupt the presentation. I think the voice is having some noise, which is not being clear.
there's a background noise. Yeah, thank you for verifying. Let me do some setting. What about now? Is it way better?
It seems a little better, but I don't think uh, it's that big of a difference.
Okay, let me do some settings. Okay, give me a minute. Give me like 2 minutes. So let me know if it's better now. Let's see. Is it better now?
Yes.
How's that? Now it's way better.
Mm,
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's
Is
a
it
lot better.
a lot better? Okay, perfect. Okay, let's try. Let's try more. Okay. So this one's all right, right? All right. Now let's get back. Let's get back to it. So so my slide is still there, right? You guys can still see the slide, right? Okay. So let's see. Um, So this is Terraform. So you can go to terraform.io. You can open that link and you can go through the website and all that. Um, yeah. So this is how Terraform syntax looks like. So instead of clicking here and clicking there, like clicking a lot of clickings, you can actually go through. You can actually type down what you want, and you can actually automate it. Like if you use, let's say if you use GitHub, in GitHub there's this thing called GitHub Action, where you can actually automate your infrastructure. So what do I mean by automating the infrastructure, for example? it's it's like, let's say if you are having a new people coming in. So if you have new developers coming in, for example, and you have to set up for their profiles and their resources and whatnot, you can automate that with infrastructure as a code. So you're going to be focusing on Azure at the moment. So this is how Terraform syntax looks like. Now, let's move on. Let's talk about Azure. Now, this is Azure. So Azure, I mean, I'm not sure if others have touched any other cloud services before, like Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud Platform. So let's say if you've used Google Cloud Platform before, which is GCP, right? So they have this thing called cloud storage. So in AWS, they call it an S3. In Azure, they call it a blob. And I think we've heard about Lambda. So in AWS, they call it Lambda. So Lambda is where you put in your Python functions, for example, or let's say if you put in your um, JavaScript script, for example, like Node.js, Node.js. So you can write scripts with Node.js, you can write scripts with Python, and you want to run it, you want to make something like HTTP endpoint and whatnot. So in AWS, we use Lambda, but in GCP, Cloud Functions and Azure is Azure Functions. And you can actually set it up by using infrastructure as a code as well. Like back then, when I was in Service Rocket, we used serverless. We use serverless framework. We use Terraform as well, where we run it through GitHub Actions. So do explore GitHub Actions when you have free time so that you can see how you can make your life as a developer easier. Now, let's do it. All right, let's start. Let's do it. Like, let's start doing this Terraform on a local machine. So first things first is go to this website, https://azure.microsoft.com, and go to that website. So you can actually sign up. So when you sign up, you get $200 credit for free. Go sign up, and they're gonna ask for your credit card details or debit card details. Just put it in, and yeah. Now I'm gonna stop sharing my screen just now, and I'm gonna check the chat. Oh yeah, okay, audio is on clear. All right, so let's see. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna share a link. I'm gonna share a link in the chat. Okay, so go to the link and sign up. So for those who have no account with Azure yet, please do sign up because we want to be hands-on. And it depends on your operating system of your machine, whether you're using Windows or Mac OS. So I'm using Mac OS, and since I'm using Mac OS, I'll share with you guys the links for tutorial later as well. We're gonna go for a 5 minute break. All right, just 5 minutes. I'll see you guys later in 5 minutes. All right. I think I'm gonna cut the hello. Yeah, can you hear my voice right now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut the 5 minute break short. So I'm gonna try to share I'm gonna try to share my whole screen. Okay. So can you guys see my screen right now? Okay. I'm just gonna assume that you guys can see my screen. So um as I was saying earlier, like when you log in into Azure, you're gonna see all these things, like all these services and whatnot. So as for the previous slides that I've shown, let's say if you've used any other cloud services before, it's actually quite similar, really. So we're gonna demonstrate. We're gonna demonstrate um, on how to use Terraform in this. So first things first. First things first. What you gotta do is you gotta configure your Azure. So what do I mean by that? So the link that I've given, it says there the Terraforming Quick Start Configure. So like here, install and configure Terraform. So there's a couple of options right here, right? We got Bash, PowerShell, and so on. So um, when you're a cloud engineer, you're gonna spend most of your time on the browser, actually. Like, eh, so, and also, in my opinion, I'd rather use Bash because I do Bash scripting as well. So let's start with this one, which is configured in Azure PowerShell with Bash. So, but what do they mean by that? Is that in your portal or in other cloud services like Google Cloud Platform or AWS, to call it as console. So we got a console right here. You want to hear it's a cloud shell. So all you got to do is just click on it. So there we go. We got a cloud shell right there. So we got to wait for a while, right? You got to wait for a while until it's connected and whatnot. So we're gonna do this together. All right, we're gonna do this together. So let's see. First things first. Like first things first, you gotta sign up for a free account. So that's what the 5 minute break is for you guys to sign up for Azure subscription. Don't worry, you got 12 months, and you just have to remove your credit card details afterwards. Okay, so now let's check our Terraform version. All right, let's check our Terraform version. So this is what we got. Our Terraform version is 1.6.4, and we know here that it's running on Linux AMD 64. So here's the best thing about cloud services. Though. You can actually determine what sort of OS that you want. So for this one, for example, is on Linux. But let's say if you want to do it on Mac or whatever it is, you can actually configure it. In Azure, I believe it's here in virtual machine. You can actually choose whatever you want. But yeah, let's begin. So let's see. And then you can actually skip all these parts because this is just an introduction. You can just skip all these. So just skip step 2 until step 13. You can just skip it. Um, the the one that says that curl Terraform download and whatnot is if you want to try other Terraform versions. But as for this introduction, we're just gonna we're just gonna do simple ones. All right. Okay. So next, you gotta see. Let's verify our subscription. So I already put in my credit card details and whatnot. So let's see. Yeah, it says here that your version of Terraform is out of date. The latest version is blah blah blah. But it's fine. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this step if we run some trouble. So let's say if you encounter any trouble or if you get any errors or whatever it is totally fine. It's a learning session anyway. People make mistakes and you gotta learn from it. So now we got some information when it says AZ account show. So we got some information right here. And this is the user's name. This is the person's name. This is the user. Right? Now, let's see. Next, it's a Terraform Azure participant. All right. So next, we need to see if we can actually log in our local machine with our Azure. So what do you need to do? You need to install Azure CLI. CLI. So you need to install this Azure CLI. You need this. So I'm gonna share the link. All right, I'm gonna share the link. A moment. Okay. So what's this Azure CLI is for? Azure CLI is for you to see if you are logged in and for you to manage your Azure account via terminal. Like this, for example. AZ, let's try again. Let's try again. The same command that we did. AZ account. So yeah, so we're basically logged in. But let's say these information didn't come up. I think I've given you guys the wrong one. Yeah. So there we go. So I'm showing you guys the link. So you need this as a prerequisite. Uh, Mine is Mac OS, right? Mine is Mac OS, so it's quite straightforward. So it depends on what sort of OS you are using. So Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, just install that. So once it is installed, you can actually verify. You can actually verify if it's installed by using AZ version. So AZ version, there you go. So these are what is being installed. And after that, you guys just gotta do AZ login. That's it. When you press AZ login, you just click on the thing and you are signed logged in. And you show the details and whatnot. So once that is done, these are the steps that I was talking about earlier, which is AZ login and AZ can show. Get this part, get this part as well. Now, you gotta create a service principal. So let's start creating service principal. So what is this actually? Well, just treat it like a bot where you can actually configure what sort of permissions and whatnot. So let's do this. Just copy the thing, go back to your terminal, paste it. Now, the next step. To create a service principal, run easy business whatnot. So we have a copy. We have a snippet right here. So for service principal name, we're gonna give it a name. We're gonna give it a name that you can actually remember, a name that you can actually associate it with a service account. Subscription ID. Let's see, where can you get the subscription ID? Okay, subscription ID. I think you can get it from. Is this the subscription ID? I have no idea. Let's see. So we're just gonna copy this. Then minute. So, let's start run it. Oh, syntax error and expecting talking new line. Okay, give me a minute. Yeah, I think we need a subscription ID. So let's find out what is subscription ID. So we can always Google. Oh, there we go. So we've logged in and welcome menu, click all services. There we go. Subscription. Now, so this is our subscription ID. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so never afraid to Google. So it turns out this is our subscription ID. So let's try it again. It's okay to make mistakes. Okay, now let's try again. So if it takes a long time, that means that it is actually working. So you just have to wait. All right. I love this. So as you go through your career as a DevOps, you're gonna Google things a lot. So now we got our service account. So this is our service account. Now, now that we've done with that, and we already got this. So we're just gonna copy this. Gonna copy this thing. So I'm gonna copy it in somewhere safe. But I'm gonna destroy this thing anyway. So now, now we gotta go here. So now that we've created our service account, we need to write its credentials. So where do we write it? It says here edit bash. Okay, okay. So where is this? Hmm. Okay. Let's see. All right. Okay. We're gonna take another 5 minute break. So it's all so far. So I want you guys to try that too in the next 5 minutes.
Hello, Hamid. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. Is the 5 minutes up?
Uh,
Okay, perfect.
Seems so.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Okay. Yeah. So, so now that we're done with that part that I it, yeah, now that we're done, you know what? Let's add another 5 minutes. Just another 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm just facing a technical issue. Give me a while. Yeah, I think it's fine. So, uh, all right. So, anyone here have tried it yet? To sign up on the terminal and getting the credentials and all that? Okay, it's fine. Ugh. Are you guys just watching this, or are you guys doing do hands up? But it's fine. So, I'm gonna share my screen again. All right. So this is Visual Studio Code, right? So after you're done installing and configuring Terraform and polling and all this, we're gonna start writing some Terraform code. So there's a second step right here, which is actually install the Azure Terraform Visual Studio Code extension. So a couple of extensions that you gotta install, like after the Azure CLI, you just have to install this too, Azure Terraform, this one, install it, and then create a folder. So ignore all these files. So just create a folder called Cloud, and then a folder called Azure. Set this up. So there's only like three files that you gotta set up, which is actually main.tf, output.tf. So the rest of these files is actually generated on its own. So what do I mean by that? Okay, let's start from scratch, all right? So what do I mean by that is, let's say if I created a new folder, for example, right? I call it Azure. Okay, let's move on to this folder. So let's try that. So we put main.py. Now, let's go to the quick start, the first Terraform project. So let's go with this. Let's just follow this whole tutorial. So the name, the providers, okay. So all these colors, so let's say if you're using Visual Studio Code, and all these colors didn't show up, so you just have to install uh just just HTL, this one. So you just gotta install this, and the highlights would show up, like the colors and whatnot would show up. So let's get back to this again. Main providers.tf, and then variables.tf. This one. Okay. Main providers, and let's copy outputs as well. Okay. So now that we're done with all these, so remember the other files, like these, for example, the other file that's generated by itself. So it is generated after we run. It is generated after we run Terraform init. So what's that? Okay. Copy that thing, and yeah, so just wait for it. So as you can see, yeah, see, it generates some other file. See? So it generates some other files. So now we're gonna try to run Terraform plan. Let's run that. Okay, and so we wait. It's gonna take some time. So what is Terraform plan is for actually? So what Terraform plan does is it will actually generate a file, and after that it will tell you what it will actually do before actually doing something. So it will tell you list of things of what would happen on your cloud services, like let's say in Azure, GCP, and AWS, for example. So it does take a long time, as you can see here. But anyway, while we're waiting, any uh, any questions? And also, like, why are you guys so quiet? Where are you guys at? At home, outside, jogging, dating? Hello, guys. The microphone is muted. Oh, oh my god. Or are you guys shy? You can tap it on the chat if you want. No, hmm, it's okay. Right. That's good. Okay. Anyhow, so yeah. So anyhow, let's say once the Terraform plan is done, If they once the Terraform plan is done, it should generate a file called main.ts uh, plan, right? So after it generates main.ts plan, that's when you can execute it. So what does it mean? So what does it mean? I'm just going to show an example in the GitHub repository, for example. Let's see. I'm just going to find any random file. Okay. Yeah, here we go. I think it's okay. Uh, yeah, I don't think it's okay. So after the main.ts plan file has been generated, I'm just going to skip this whole thing because it does take some time. Then you can move on with Terraform apply. So what are we doing actually? So the first step that we did was actually to generate the main.ts plan file. So like I said, this file is the one that you're gonna execute. So after that, you're gonna run this code right here, which is Terraform space apply.main. So we're gonna run this. So after you run this one, it should generate some resource group name, which is actually somewhere well somewhere around here. So it should generate some sort of resources. And after you're done playing with that, so I'm really sorry. Actually, might be mute for all. Ah, no wonder. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So after you're done playing with that, you must straight ahead stand up. So um, I'm just gonna show you guys which part that you should try it on the console and which part you should try it on local machine. So the part right here is where you run it on the console, the one that I showed earlier, somewhere around here. And the part that you run on your local machine is this part right here. Like from this part and whatnot is where you run it on your local machine. A heads up though, once you've experimented with this, like once you've played around with this, please do clean up your resources, or else you're gonna rack up a lot of um, bills. Like once you run out of your Azure credit, then it's gonna start charging your credit card. Yeah, I think probably something's wrong with my computer. I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, it should work. And yep, I believe that's all for me. No sense. Okay. 1 minute.
You're audible, Ahmed. It
What?
doesn't. You are audible.
Inaudible. Like there's no sound. Like my voice is not heard.
Uh,
I'm really sorry for this session. Uh, no sound right now at all.
no, there is sound. I would say there is some noise, but I don't think that is a big barrier to understand what you're saying.
Okay. So for the other participant, are they being forced to be mute or they cannot unmute themselves?
They cannot unmute themselves. I can unmute them if they want
Ah,
to be asking questions, but they need to use the chat box in order to ask questions
no,
or any comments or yeah.
no wonder. Um, all right then. I think I'm gonna have to end it until here. And my deepest apologies for not being able to fully demonstrate this due to some technical issues. Any questions in the chat? You can type in the chat your questions and so on, your concerns and whatnot. Nothing so far? All right. So I'm gonna share you guys some resources. So first of all, I'm gonna share some of good resources. So first of all, I'm gonna share other IAC. So the ones that I said earlier, which is Pulumi. So Pulumi is infrastructure as good as well, where you can actually use Python, whatever other languages to set up your infrastructure. So it's not just limited to Azure. You can use other cloud services as well. And then the other resources that I was talking about is this open tofu. Yeah. So this is actually Terraform. So it's just that it's free. So you can go through this as well. So you can experiment with open tofu in Azure, for example. You can check the docs and all that. Do you know that when you're diving into the world of DevOps, cloud, and all that, you'll be using uh, Terminal a lot, and you're going to be writing some codes and all that. So yeah, and another one that I would like to share is Bash, Bash scripting. So this is Bash. This is the best resource ever, which is TLDP. It's my favorite. It looks like an old website, but it's actually pretty good and it's pretty solid. And another one that I shared earlier, which is actually GitHub Actions. So this is GitHub Actions. So GitHub Actions is, the things that I wrote down, the comments and whatnot. You can actually use GitHub Actions for that. So instead of using your local machine, like I did, you can actually use GitHub Actions to put in your Terraform files and to run your Terraform and experiment and things and whatnot, putting in the credentials and so on. And there's actually a tutorial in Microsoft where you use GitHub Actions to run some uh, Terraform for Azure. You can look that up. And yeah, I believe that's all for me. And again, I'm very glad that you guys are here. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Ahmed, for all the knowledge that is being shared. Let's give a 5 minutes if in case there is any questions that might come up to your mind. Um, yeah, if there is, we'll wait for let's say 2 3 minutes, and then if there's no questions, you can always join the community and ask the questions there. Okay. I would like to share the community link since I didn't share it previously, but let me share it now. If in case you want to participate in the upcoming session, you can participate over there. And I'll also share the form where you can fill out and receive your certificate of participation. It might not be today, but we'll send it out to your email after you fill this form. You will get the form. We'll get email regarding to get your certificate. So just look into that. Make sure you check out in 2 days uh, to make sure that you fill that short form to get your certificate because it's small delay in getting a certificate. Okay, that's all of it, and which will you might need. Uh, okay, I see. Seems there is no other questions? Yeah, cool. Again, thank you, Masraj, for joining us. And it was last minute changes on the session. We're really glad he took the time, and even though he's outdoor. Um, so yeah, really appreciate that. And everybody who joined us. Thank you for joining us. I hope you learned something, you gained something by participating for the past 1 hour. And if there is some value that is given in the session, please support Hamad and also join the community. So there is a lot of events that might help you to be learning more. That's all on the today's session. Any word from Hamad?
Yeah, nothing so far. Nope. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, have fun.
You too.
Enjoy your weekend. Yeah. Don't forget to do the tutorial on the learn.microsoft. I mean, it may not work on my Mac, but it will work on you guys. And let's say if you have any questions or you're stuck or there's any whatnot, do feel free to message me on LinkedIn. I'm just gonna share my LinkedIn very quick. Let's see. Uh, yeah, feel free to ask me any question on LinkedIn. Again, hands-on is the best. You need your muscle memory. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you, Hamad. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, Hamad have shared his LinkedIn. Go ahead and if you have any question, feel free to connect with him. And that's it for the this Saturday. And we'll have another session on Monday on Copilot. If you are guys interested, be sure to be in the community so that you can participate. Cool. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the day and weekend.
Bye bye.
Bye.